Hey, Jesse Peterson, how's it going today?
Good, Jake. Nice to meet you.
Jake, great.
Cool. So just to make sure we're on the same page, I guess our company that I've been talking, we're just trying to figure out the best way to make this work. I think the biggest issue they're seeing is Article 22. From my understanding, you guys are wanting to have a bit more control over that, which I totally understand. And it's just the way it's worded. We just have a few concerns that we're trying to figure out. So hopefully we can figure something else with that. But
Jake, this is how it always goes. They bring in the best for last. So I guess this is the best our companies have to give, right?
All right, if you say so. Cool. So tell me a little bit about the background on Article 22. I understand it's your guys' policy, and maybe you can give me some background information on why you guys are so strict on that and the purpose of that.
Right. I don't know if necessarily I would use the word strict. It's just we have 200 other locations. When you have a nationwide chain, consistency is key.
Sure.
To be able to make a change and then for that to be implemented is huge. So we definitely need that flexibility. And I think that a lot of the developers that we've worked with have found that it's been super beneficial for them. Just giving us that flexibility. We're the professionals in retail here. I'm not going to presume to know how to do real estate. That's your guys' gig. But we're the professionals with real estate here. And so giving us kind of the ability to call the shots and make necessary adjustments to be right where we need to be with the market. I think they've found that that's been super successful for them as well as for us.
That makes sense. You guys are a big company. I'm sure you guys know exactly what you're doing. So I totally understand that. Let me just give you a little bit of background on what our concerns are, and maybe we can address those and figure something out with that. But as I'm sure you know, I'm looking for a tenant or an anchor tenant for our mall. And their purpose is basically to provide customers that will go to the other stores and be the main attraction, right? So that would be you guys. And we're trying to get financing, and the company that we're with, they're concerned that if Article 22 stays the way it is, they don't really have any guarantee that our anchor tenant, will be exactly what they're looking for, right? So if we have, if you guys, hypothetically, the way it's worded, you guys be able to sublease to a car dealership or whatever, right? And that's not going to provide the customers that the mall is looking for the other areas, and then we would not be able to actually receive the financing from our lenders, right? So that's probably the main issue that we're having. But also, if you guys have the possibility of moving out and having a different store come in, there's a potential that it would be not a good competition set up with one of our smaller satellite tenants, right? So if we have got like a little mom and pop candle store and Yankee Candle comes in, it would kind of run them, they would just have a hard time. It would be harder for us to get those guys in there. So I'm totally willing to work with you guys and figure out something we can be flexible in this. But just so you understand where we're coming from, the biggest issue is that we wouldn't actually be able to receive financing with the way it's worded. And that's not us trying to be, sticklers or anything like that. We're just trying to get the money we need to build the mall and make this work, right? Does that make sense?
Sure. Great. And Jake, I appreciate you just being upfront about that. Obviously, that's an important thing for you guys. If you don't get financing, then we're not going to be able to move in because we won't have a building. So, I mean, obviously, you brought up a couple of different concerns here, and you're going to know better than me because it sounds like your financing people are a little bit more difficult than typically.
Sure, yeah. It sounds like you guys have worked with maybe some.
Yeah, typically I feel like we haven't had a lot of these issues. So honestly, I'm just kind of surprised that that you're having so many issues with this company. Whoever is financing the gig, do you know who's financing you guys?
I actually am not familiar with their name now, sorry.
Okay, that's okay. Yeah, just kind of surprising to me that they're being so difficult on all of this. Definitely in the past, I think even just having the assurance that it's discount that's coming in has afforded a lot. Typically what we've done, and you brought up a couple of points that I'd like to address, but before we get down to that, I know that there had been some pre-negotiated time on the lease, which was 25 years. When I heard that, I was honestly so shocked because we typically never do anything even close to that. Really what we tend to do is more of a 5-year lease. It just tends to be a better fit for us. I mean, on the odd chance that, in a couple of years, it's just a bad location, right? It's just for whatever reason, then we kind of have an out. I don't want to get stuck in a situation where after 5 years I'm done, but then for another 20 years we're having to find somebody to assign in this location in Boston. It's just not a good idea for us, and I'm sure it's not a good idea for you guys either.
Totally.
So definitely we typically go with more of a 5-year lease if that's acceptable for you guys.
Gotcha. So if I just want to make sure I understand where you guys are coming from.
Sure.
Just because the market's unpredictable, you don't know exactly what's going to happen. It's a new area. You don't want to be put in a situation where you're going to be losing money for
exactly,
25
man.
years. Okay.
Amen.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's totally reasonable to me. I wouldn't want to do that either. Let's see. So one idea I had. Let me just run it by you. Tell me what you think.
Okay.
So it sounds like our main purpose in having you guys here is because you guys are a great store. You're exactly the company we're looking for to have it, and we could like maybe try and find some other similar store to be our anchor tenant, but really we're not looking to do that, and you guys would be our ideal candidate there. That being said, I'm hoping that we can work this out because of the nature of your store, right? You guys specialize in soft goods and stuff like that, very similar like JCPenney, kind of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, some of that feel. We have some other products as well. It's not just clothing.
Okay, gotcha. And it sounds like you guys aren't wanting to be put in a situation where you're going to be losing money. But at the same time, I'm sure you understand our need to have some security in who our anchor tenant is, right?
Right, absolutely.
Yeah. So my idea that I want to run by you is that we have the wording changed, and what we could do is we could agree on some criteria of you guys would be able to select it if you guys needed to assign to someone. You guys would be able to do that as long as it met a certain list of predetermined criteria. For example, selling similar goods, so we don't get like a car store in there instead. And then if we were able to make that list and agree upon the criteria for that store, you guys would be free within that to assign it to whoever you wanted. That would give you guys the ability to move on if it was a bad market or you just want to do something else. And it would help us because we would then be able to have the same, not the same store, but the same kind of, the same purpose. Does that make sense? What are your thoughts on that?
I'm totally on the same page with you here. You're wanting to maintain category is what it sounds like. So obviously we don't want a category that's like a call center, a car dealership, a lot of other things that aren't going to bring foot traffic. You guys are looking for more of the retail that's going to bring foot traffic.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
That's totally acceptable, and I think that'd be great. As long as we're sticking within sort of a shorter lease period. I definitely don't want to compromise the lease period for that, just because, just to be perfectly honest with you, I'm not going to be able to sell 25 years at corporate. They're just not going to buy it, you know? It's not feasible for us. So as long as we can cut down the lease period to say 5 years, then I think that's totally acceptable.
Yeah, sure.
To move forward with that.
Yeah, I understand that. I am a little concerned that wouldn't fly super well. So let me just ask you, is there something else that's a concern other than, because if you guys have the ability to assign to someone, I guess there's, it might be difficult to find that person to assign, but is there something that I'm missing that is another factor in you guys wanting to reduce that lease time other than that?
I would say our biggest concern with the lease period, and I appreciate you asking that, and I can tell that you're really concerned with understanding where we're coming from here. I would say that our biggest concern there is just being stuck. We don't want to be stuck. It's not our culture of who we are to get stuck into a lease for a long time, because we pride ourselves on being flexible. We pride ourselves on being right on the edge of whatever everything wants. I mean, everyone is familiar with where retail is these days. With Amazon shipping right to your door, you can pull into Walmart or Target and have groceries loaded right into the back of your car. Retail is kind of at this really pivotal point right now. And so we have to be able to stay right on the edge. And part of that is having the flexibility to say, if this is a bad location, a bad place, we got to get out. We can't be losing money.
So I do know that with our current financing option, they're doing it over a period of 10 years. And they wouldn't want us to have, the tenant not be there for that period of time after we paid them off. It would be, up to us to determine what we do with the space. I know it's not quite 5 years, but 10 years would be a lot less than 25 years. And with the ability to assign to someone, you guys would still have a good amount of flexibility in moving and getting out if you needed to. How do you feel about that 10 years?
Jake, I'm honestly kind of surprised that your financing they're only offering a 10-year. I just find it kind of surprising because in the past we've dealt with a lot of companies that 3 to 5 years was perfectly acceptable.
Oh, really? Okay.
And so it just kind of baffles me that they're so strict on having a 10-year lease, especially the economy the way that it is. I'm just sort of surprised with that, maybe.
Yeah, to be honest, I actually haven't worked with them personally. This is just the information that I've been passed on. But it sounds like you guys have a good network of people that you've worked with in the past. And I would definitely be open to learning more about these other people you finance with and possibly working something out with them, because it sounds like that might allow us to have a shorter lease time for you guys and just a bit more flexibility in general. Are you familiar with any of these other financing options that you guys have worked with?
Jake, this is a great idea. I mean, I can set you up with the guys in finance. We've got a team that just does a fantastic job. I personally am not familiar with all of these people. It's not really what I do,
Sure, yeah.
but I'm sure that we could set you up with some contacts to find some other financing. That sounds like a great idea. I mean, honestly, if I were you, I wouldn't want to work with this financing company either. If they're requiring all of these kind of stipulations, you're probably going to run into issues in the future. So that sounds like a great idea.
Cool, awesome. So just to make sure,
fine.
okay, cool.
Perfect.
Sweet. Are you getting super bored of doing this all day?